10 months ago, my coaching student Andrew was a completely new Amazon seller, and now he's selling over 60K a month. The crazy thing is, he did this while living in the Middle East, serving active duty in the military, building his Amazon business part-time. In this video, we're going to go through his entire story. What's up, Andrew? Good to have you here on the show, and good to have you back in the States as well.
Yeah, it feels good, man. How's it going?
Yeah, very good, man. Excited to have you here and jam on some stuff because over the past 10 months or so, been able to get to know you nicely and see
Yep.
your Amazon business grow, as well as see you, go through a lot of major life transformation,
Yeah,
too,
definitely.
just kind of circumstantially and everything. So before we get into all that, do you mind just giving the viewers, a little bit of background on yourself? What made you get into selling on Amazon? What you've been able to do the past few years or so?
Yeah, so I started Amazon roughly like 10 months ago, July 2024. I was completely overseas, not even in the States. I was deployed in the Middle East because I was in the military. I just got out. And yeah, I just wanted some extra income. I wanted to learn a new skill. I watched some of your YouTube videos, learned that you also had other students that were in the military while they were doing this. So it kind of just gave me a reason why I should start this. And I connected with you, joined your program, and yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, what I immediately say whenever someone says like nursing or military or college student, I'm like, all right, military educators or teacher for education student discount. That's what immediately goes off
Yeah,
in my mind. So I'm sure you're able to take advantage of that. And if you're watching this here and you guys watching who qualify for any of those discounts, that's another thing that it's a nice thing you can take advantage of too, as well. So when specifically did you make your first sale?
so probably towards the end of July. I think I joined like mid-July, and then
Yeah, I think so.
it took me about like maybe 3 weeks for my stuff to check in. And yeah, I made my first sale. Was it profitable? Probably not, because I was still learning. I was still learning product research. I was buying like just not so good stuff. And that is a learning curve, the product research side of the business. But yeah, I hit the ball rolling pretty quick.
Yep. And so first sale was late July. Then do you have like a specific moment that was like, aha, of like, holy crap, like this is really something I'm put a lot of time into?
Definitely when back to school came in, the influx of buyers came in, and it was just easier to find more leads because of the promotions websites were having, and you know, uh, people buying more on Amazon, and that kind of really gave me a realization like, oh shoot, this is legit. Especially when I hit my first 10K in sales, I was like, okay, this is actually legit. I can make some real money doing this.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about anyone watching this in, the second quarter, because we're filming this obviously in April, is we're just getting in a time of year where it's like Easter's right now, right? Even when people are seeing this, some Easter deals are still going.
Yeah.
Then Mother's Day in May, Memorial Day in May, Father's Day in June, 4th of July right at the start of July, then July Prime Day, which is actually more important for buying compared to
Mhm.
selling because every retailer runs a sale to compete with Prime Day, which means there's tons of buys to be had. And that's right when back to school kicks off as well. And then back to school happens, and then we're right into Labor Day and October Prime Day, and then eventually Q4 there too. So that's why it's
Yep.
so important. If you guys are watching this, you can get started now. And not only are you going to get a lot better, but the market's also going to get a lot better as we go here to the rest of the year. As well. So 10K for back to school. Do you have any specific back to school tips for anyone watching? Because back to school is coming up. It's going to get started in, early July, even mid-July as well. Any specific back to school tips?
I mean, just really do the math because a lot of stuff becomes like FBM friendly, and especially for me, I was doing the prep center. I didn't know. I started sending backpacks to the prep center, and they were charging me like oversized fees and
Oh
like
yeah, the
I
backpacks are big. Yeah.
yeah. So like the leads were good. It's just I didn't do the math right, and the prep fees came out too expensive, and um yeah. So make sure you're just doing your math, learning the FBM strategy, and calculating everything.
Yeah, and that's why, you guys watch this in April and May and June here. This is mainly when you FBA stuff during this time of year. You ship the products off in bulk, but then during back to school and during the fourth quarter of the year, there's a ton of time to go ahead and actually merchant fulfill products because there's big demand, but it's in a compressed time frame right there.
Yeah.
So you can really nicely hop on that FBM and get stuff moving quick. You mentioned the prep center model. So there's people watching this that are in Canada. There's people watching this in Europe, other parts of the world that they want to sell on Amazon US. They might be deployed in the military, similar to you, other parts,
Mhm.
right? Where they want to sell on Amazon US, but they're like, okay, how do I actually do it fully remote? So can you break down what the remote online arbitrage business actually looks like? Because now you're actually back in the States, so you can do FBM yourself, RA yourself, OA, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
break down what it looked like from the get-go, starting with your remote online arbitrage model.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Most sellers start at their home. They start doing FBM, they start doing a little bit of RA because it's very easy barrier to entry. But me, I had no other choice but to just learn the OA/prep center model. And I just looked around, looked for prep centers, make sure they were credible and legit. Got in contact with the prep center, say, "Hey, were you willing to do business with me?" They said, "Yeah." Started sending stuff in, and yeah, they kind of just did all the labor for me, and I didn't lift a single figure. I didn't even see any of the products I was buying. It was weird. It felt like a video game.
Video game. That's
Yeah,
exactly how I remember I tweeted that like 3
yeah,
years ago, right when I got a prep center too. And you're such an interesting case, man. We were talking about it off camera because you've like destroyed every limiting belief. You sold internationally. You sold
yeah.
with a very demanding full-time job. You sold with the prep center from day one. You kind of had every reason to not excel at all in arbitrage quickly.
Right.
But you were still, able to make it happen. In terms of like, fully even playing field, like most beginner sellers, they struggle with product research. So can you talk through like some of the different tips and tricks and just stuff that's been really helpful for you on the sourcing side of things, both getting the ball rolling initially and actually scaling up the business too?
Yeah, just sticking to the basics. I know when I first started, I was kind of just manual sourcing because that's just what beginners do.
You kind of
But
think that would be the way, and it's just
yeah,
the
it's
exact
not.
opposite.
Yeah, and then I kind of just took your advice and just storefront stock, found winners from other people's storefronts and just kind of sniped them out. And yeah, just learn like the discounting mechanism for these websites. Once you start finding profitable leads from certain websites and certain brands, then you kind of just hammer it down and uh, you can find like 10 more leads from that same website.
Yeah, and that's what's so nice about the coaching program is we just work together to solve those
Yeah.
discounting issues and then do like, if you're struggling to make Shop WSS good or Walmart good, all that kind of stuff, the coaching guys, y'all just get it right there. So that's why it can be really helpful to be in that type of environment if you're really serious about the stuff as, I was when I was getting going and you obviously were, when you were getting going too as well. Quick interruption on the video, guys. If you're ever looking for personalized one-on-one help directly from me to start or grow your Amazon business in 2025, now's a great time to check the first link in the description for my private coaching program application. We'll pop a whole bunch of our student results up here on screen, as well as Andrew, who you're watching the video with right now. So if that sounds interesting to you, take a look at the first link in the description and put in your information to apply. Back to the interview with Andrew. And then in terms of like the setup now, so you're back in the States, right? Talk about both from like a sales per month perspective and just like what the business actually looks like. Did you keep just going with the all prep center model? Are you doing some stuff yourself? Like break down the current setup on Amazon.
Yeah, so right now I'm still 100% OA, 100% prep, but I will start doing some of RA to kind of boost that margin and just learn the whole game, learn everything, and definitely when Q4 comes around, I'm gonna be FBMing. Um, but yeah, right now I'm still just 100% OA prep center, but I do want to start prepping my own items to cut costs and just boost that margin.
Yeah, like because California is sales tax free and grocery, right?
Yeah, it is, and then
Pretty
you
cool.
got Walmart tax free
Yeah,
exempt.
Home Depot.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So that
huge.
is very good stuff. Yeah, taking advantage of some of those different advantages, and that's the kind of things that you don't just see day one. Like when you were newer, Sal, like people are worried about ungating, finding that first item or two,
Yeah.
right? But eventually, once you're confident with all that stuff, it just becomes blocking and tackling, executing, sourcing profitable items, and selling through them. Like, you have any ungating issues when you're a new seller?
Um, no, not ungating, but I did get Section 3 IP complaint the next month after. So like that was kind of a curveball, but I just stuck to it, listened to others in the community, see how they fixed it, how they beat the case, and I kind of just did what they did and it worked for me.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing too, is like, there's like rocket ships going to outer space. Like that's a crazy, bizarre thing. Making some money online isn't that crazy of a bizarre thing, especially, getting started part-time like you did, nice, small, and low risk, building up
Yeah.
initial momentum, right? If it worked for someone else, it can work for you as long as you stick around for a while and you take action every day, right? And you look for nuance other people won't see and everything. And then in terms of sales per month, like what's your biggest month so far?
So right now I did right around 60K last month in March.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a drop from all that Q4, but yeah, fortunately, I did pretty decent number, I'd say, and that's working full time in the military, 50 hours a week. Had to deal with time zone issues, you have your calls, but it would be like 3 in the morning for me.
I remember one time we had one scheduled and you're like, I just can't get away from my voice right now or something. It's
Yeah.
super loud. Yeah.
So I just watched your recordings, and just tagged along with you guys, even though I was in different time zones. But yeah,
Yeah, and then in terms of like most people like, getting going, right? Most people start out just doing the stuff on their own and they equate selling on Amazon to something that when I do, I go to my bedroom late at night when I got some free time and I sit on the computer and do it. That's the complete opposite of the way you and I do it. We're in the game, we're in the mix, we're talking to other people, throughout the day. We're talking to other people when available and getting plugged into stuff, without necessarily like having to put in a ton of effort for it. So talk about like why it was helpful to have, the coaching group and just other sellers in the mix that you're working with.
yeah, it just almost felt like a cheat code, especially if I had a question that Google couldn't specifically answer for me. I could just make a post in school, and someone would respond within like an hour. And it also helped that there's also a little military slash first responder community in the school program. So we're all feeding each other. We're all, eating together. So that really helped. And I also have the mastermind behind all this. So you definitely just helped, and just that whole community, just networking. And I think you had Phil in this last video, and he contacted me, and we started working together. He showed me a few of his brands. I showed him a few of mine, and yeah, we just help each other. Makes
Yep.
everything easier.
And the cool part is you didn't even pay bro any money or vice versa, right?
Yeah, it's all free game.
Yeah, right. In that, like obviously the program costs money, but in terms like moving forward, like that's what I want to set you guys up for is where you don't need that kind of stuff, down the line and everything, and that you have your own independent brand and reputation, everything that brings people into your orbit, right? And everything.
Mhm.
I think that's super beneficial and everything too, which is a really good thing. So talk about the next steps, right? So you just got out of your first Q4 a couple months, 3-4 months ago, right? Now you're back home. I assume probably feeling more inspired than ever to chase the mission, right? But talk about
Yep.
the path forward for your specific Amazon business.
So I definitely want to get into like wholesale. I'm still new to that, but I definitely want to implement some wholesale, some RA, and just whatever it takes to grow my store. Because I'm on the road to breaking 100K a month. That's my goal. So whatever it takes, either implementing some RA, some wholesale, or you just keep growing the OA catalog. But that's my goals for this year.
Yeah, bro, that's what I love about, young guys like ourselves. Like, bro, you got nothing to do but make money. I'm
Yeah,
saying
come
like,
on.
bro, now's the time to max that stuff out, because 60K a month revs probably right around 10 grand a month in profits. That's like,
Yeah,
six-figure profit side hustle that, you started 10 months ago and really only became well equipped to actually do a month or two ago or a couple months ago when you actually came back right there.
yeah.
So it's pretty neat. And obviously there's stuff that comes up all the time you got to work through, like, ungating issues. It gets done.
Mhm.
It just might take a little while. It might be a little discouraging. Cash flow issues might take a little while to get those payouts, right? You got to manage that. But you go through that first 6-9 months where you learn the basics, and then it just becomes executing from there. Right.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think so. If you could go back to you back last July or May and June or whenever you started watching content around the stuff, what would you tell, younger and newer Andrew or newer Amazon seller watching this that you think would help them succeed a little bit quicker?
Definitely just networking with other sellers. It makes everything completely easier. Like my first 2 months, I did join the program, but I wasn't posting. I wasn't really texting other people in the community. But just having other people help you and show you the game and show you the ropes, it definitely makes everything completely easier. Like the discount mechanisms, the websites, order cancels, ungating. You just everything becomes way quicker, and your turnaround is way faster than someone selling by themselves.
Yeah, 100%. It's more fun too, right? Sounds
Yeah.
like maybe delivery just came in or something at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
garage
yeah.
there as well, something like that and everything. But yeah, no, dude, super proud of what you've been able to do, man. For people who want to see more of your journey, where can they follow you online?
You can follow me on Instagram. Life is marvelous. At the end is two S's, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll have that linked in the description too. So super proud of what you've been able to do, Andrew. Hopefully we'll get to meet up soon in person too, as well.
Yes,
Now that you're
sir.
back in the States as well. And so if you guys are watching this, make sure you follow Andrew. If you do want formal help, information on that will be linked in the description. And yeah, we'll see you guys next one. Thanks so much for coming on, yeah, Andrew.
Appreciate it, Miles.
Cool. Thank you guys for watching too.